and welcome to Meet the Chef by República del Cacao, a space to get inspired, learn from each other, and build a community with purpose. I'm Michelle Roman, North American Brand Manager for República del Cacao, and today I'm honored to introduce you to Daniella Lea Rada, Executive Pastry Chef at Signia by Hilton Atlanta. She brings nearly 20 years of global experience and a tremendous passion. She and her team conceptualize and prepare all house-made desserts, pastries, and chocolates for Capolinea, Neston 4, Homespun, Friendship Market, Lobby Bar, High Ball, and Club Signia, not to mention welcome amenities, in-room dining, and banquet events. Hi, Daniela, and thanks for being here today. I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? Thank you for having me today.
It's great. So I want to dive right into it. So I want to start a little bit general. So what inspired you to pursue being a pastry chef?
I love pastry. I didn't know that I loved it as much as I do until I was actually in it. I went to culinary school in Argentina, but I only went for savory. It was never in my plan to be a pastry chef. But I noticed that when I was doing my recipes, my favorite recipes, I wasn't enjoying it. Like I didn't like the smell of the fish. I didn't like the smell of the beef. Like, it was just not enjoying it at all. But when I was taking my pastry classes, that's when I started to realize that okay, I enjoy this. I like this. I think I could be doing this for a living. So that's how I started. I finished my career, of course, and I signed up for the night classes. So only pastry. So I still wanted to have both sides because it was important for me to know about savory. But I really dedicated myself into pastry a lot more after that. And that's how I'm here now.
That's awesome. And how do you think your background, whether that's studying in Argentina or Venezuela, where you're from, influences your cooking?
It definitely gives it a different touch or taste. Coming from Venezuela, I am always super aware of the ingredients that we use, the not waste anything. Of course, coming from Venezuela, everything can be a little bit more expensive. It's not easy to find good products sometimes, or the products that are good, they're not really available to everyone. So that gives you a different perspective in life on how to be careful with what you use, how you use it, how much you use about it. It's just like I think growing up, it was always my parents, always think about the next day, make sure that you don't use it all, make sure that you don't eat it all, make sure who's coming after you. So it gives you a different perspective in life of being more aware and careful and enjoying it, and also to not everyone has the opportunities that I've had. My parents worked really hard to give us, me and my sister, a good education, an education abroad. So I had an opportunity that maybe not every parent is able to. So that also makes you very aware of where I come from, and to be able to pass on that knowledge as well, or help as much as I can to someone else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like hard work and passion are both key to success. And you have had quite an extensive and amazing career, I have to say. Is there any specific experience in your career that you cherish the most?
I think when I moved to the US, I wasn't planning on it. It was just out of a vacation, a class actually in New York that turned into an interview and a stage. So it's an opportunity that it has taught me a lot because it's taught me to get advantage of opportunities. I feel like
Mhm.
opportunities sometimes come, but sometimes we overthink it too much because it didn't come through the proper channels, or it didn't come through the how I was expecting it. So when I had that opportunity and I grabbed it and I took advantage of it, and it came to fruit, like, and now I'm here. It really changed me because it taught me about, don't, even though I'm scared and I have to move my whole family, which was only my husband and my cat at that moment. It really changed me, and it gave me a completely different perspective because now you come from South America to the
Mhm.
US, where again we're talking again about opportunities. We're talking about things that maybe in South America you don't have them. Ingredients, equipment, chocolate, anything else. So it gives you a different perspective about life and what you have from in what I learned in South America, and how to get the most out of those resources, and now complementing that with bigger resources here. So I think I've cherished that a lot because it was a dream for me to come
Yeah.
to the US. It was a dream to from my not from my parents, but they taught me to like work hard, invest in yourself, make sure that you always trust in yourself, believe in yourself, and that will pay off eventually. And that's something that I cherish to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you bring who you are and where you come from into what you do. And I feel like that's also important for future generations to have that role model of you as a woman, as a Latin American, being where you are. And the thing about success is that people don't see is that it also comes with failures. And that kind of brings me to my next question, which is, have you ever had a pastry fail spectacularly?
Oh yes, it's definitely it's stuck in my mind. Um, well, talking about coming to the U.S., I came into a property that it was bigger than what I was used to, so it was very big on banquets. So I definitely had to learn how to adapt myself to US and banquets now. So I trust myself and I thought it was okay. It was a lava cake. I don't know what I was thinking of baking it a la minute, and they moved the banquet function an hour earlier. So of course I'm running with my team. This is maybe like about a month I started. I started baking them. Of course they were not done at the time, so we were like plating a la minute, baking more. It was a disaster. It was a disaster, bad organization on my end. It's one of those. I just honestly wanted to like stay in the freezer, which I think I actually did. I stayed in the freezer. I just wanted to cry. I just wanted the night to be over. The chef was honestly super nice, and he talked to me. He asked me what went wrong because that was more than what happened. I mean, of course, and so I had to really think about what went wrong, and it was the only way for me to learn about it and not make the same mistake because at the end of the day, it wasn't like I can just say, well, let me just go back to my country. No, like I'm here and this is the challenge that I took. So I have to learn not only for me, but for my team too, because they were really looking up to me and say, okay, well, you're responsible for us and for how the night is executed. So I definitely learned from that. I promised myself to never put myself in that situation again because it's just not nice and not fun at all.
Yeah,
It can really take you to mentally to a place that either you can just understand it and understand it and admit it, and it's not so much about blaming others, like, okay, what did I do wrong, where did I fail, what do I have to do to not be myself in this situation again, and
right.
move on. And that's what I've done so far.
Yeah. And I'm guessing you had this pressure of I just moved to a new country. I have to
Yes.
like make it be a success somehow. And that's also a lot of pressure to put on you, on yourself. But I love this question because sometimes we learn even more from our mistakes than from how we get up from them. I believe that many will be able to resonate with your story and through this experience. So thanks for sharing. And I think it's safe to say that you like chocolate. So what do you think is the best part about working with chocolate?
I love chocolate. I think chocolate me. I don't think I found it. I think it found me because
Mhm.
I mean, of course, you look at your first showpieces and your first chocolate classes, and I was a mess. But chocolate, it teaches you that you have to be so precise and understand it, and it challenges you to like, hey, understand me. It's not so much about you; it's about me. Like, hey, like take your time and study and take classes and keep studying and buy more books in order to understand me, chocolate. So I think that's what I like about it, that it was challenging me so much because I am the most impatient person. But when I'm working with chocolate, it keeps me calm. It brings me that necessary patience that I need in, I don't know, strangely. So it keeps me, it brings everything together in my mind. I was just packaging some chocolate bars this morning and I was thinking about it. I was like, this really calms me down. It makes you think about ideas, because you have to take your time working with chocolate, even though you have to be precise, fast, you still
Mhm.
have to respect it. So that's why I love chocolate so much, because it kind of like resonates in pastry, how you have to take your time, you have to get to know your product, you have to understand the science behind it. And when everything is aligned and you respect everything, here you are, a beautiful dessert or a beautiful chocolate tablet or something like that.
Yeah. I love that you gave chocolate a voice. You have to understand me.
Yes. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
It's not about you as a chef. It's about me as a chocolate.
Yeah, I love that. And it's kind of humbling in a way as well as chefs. And what is one of your most recent chocolate creations that you're most proud of?
The most recent one is the ATL Atlanta Skyline chocolate bar. It goes back to when I first arrived to the US and I had to do this tasting.
Mm,
Um, I was driving from the airport and you started kind of like coming up to the city, and the first thing that comes up is just the skyline.
mm,
It's beautiful. It's one of those things that you never get bored to look at. It happened to me when I just went to New York. It's one of those things that's like, wow, this is beautiful. So
Mm.
I've always had that idea of having the skyline in a chocolate bar. And since we started working this project here in Sydney and opening our chocolate showroom, it was one of those ideas that it came through, and people are loving it. It's one of our best sellers right now.
That's awesome. The thing I like about Skylines is that it gives you this sense of, wow, I live here, or wow, I work
Yes.
here. And
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
such a proud city moment.
And it's one of
That's
those things
amazing.
that it takes you back to, don't forget, don't forget why you came here. Don't forget about where you are.
Right.
It also reminds you of when you started and where you are at. So it's kind of like a comparison that is, yeah, it's still right there, but I'm not the same. I have changed. I have grown. So it's different.
I love this. Now it has a new meaning. I have to try your Skyline chocolate. Still talking about your creations. What is one of the most challenging pastry recipes you've mastered?
The sfogliatelle. We had it in Capolinia. We I had this idea again with the ideas that come to your mind, and I always joke with my team is like when they hear me say I have a crazy idea, it's like, oh no, what's now? Because it's one of those ideas that it works in my mind, and if it works in my mind, why can it work in the? But no, it's completely different. That's the shock. So this fogliatelle was very challenging. I kept saying, I need a nonna, I need an Italian nonna, someone to come and teach me how to do this, because I've always eaten them, and I've always admired how the beauty behind it, and so many layers, so simple but still so challenging. So it's kind of like chocolate again, so simple, but it's not simple at all.
Right.
It has its science. So I think I'm driven by pastries or by things that are have a story behind it, have a meaning. Why do you have to do it this way? Why do you have to pull the dough and roll it so thin in order to create those crispy? So that was one of the challenges. It took about 4 months to develop that dessert,
Oh,
and to incorporate it as a dessert, because usually when you go to Italy you just eat it in a, I don't know, as a pastry. But I really wanted to introduce it as a dessert, especially as an opening year in the hotel. So it came out. It really people really loved it. We're probably gonna bring it back for fall menu
wow, that's awesome.
without a challenge.
Without judge. And talk about your crazy ideas and ingredients. What's the most unusual ingredient you've used in a dessert?
Well, unusual probably here in Atlanta, at least the sarrapia or the tonka bean.
Mm.
So it's produced in Venezuela. So it's one of those that I always have in my desk, a tonka bean or a sarrapia. So I always use it because it reminds me of home for sure, but it also is so aromatic, and it's not so much about. Sometimes I feel like pastry it keeps changing, right?
Mm.
And what I like about this is sometimes it's not so much about what it has in it, but one or two, three ingredients, that what is it that you want to showcase? What is it that you want to show me? So that's how kind of when I create a menu for a dessert, I always think about what do I want who's eating it to remember. What do I want
Mm.
to transfer to them? So
Oh,
when I use
mhm.
terapia, I just want them to be like, wow, what is this aroma that I'm sensing right now that I don't recognize? And maybe you have recognized it before, maybe you have, but you don't know what it is. And the fact that it's produced in my country, that it might be not be so unusual, but it's something that I do like to use, and just to throw like a hint, an idea on people's mind when they're eating a dessert.
Right. And I love I feel like flavors take you back to places, to memories. Like for
Yes.
you, the tonka bean takes you back to Venezuela, and you're able to evoke that in different memories for different people when they taste it. The world of culinary arts is full of trends, so I'm curious to know what is a pastry trend that you absolutely loved.
Um, I don't think I'm big on trends, but the one that I do like, of course, I love the croissant trend. I love how much
Mm.
people are into croissants now. I don't enjoy the whole mixing croissant with something else,
Mm.
but I respect it. That's when it comes with respect. But I do like how much it has here in Atlanta has been like a big thing here now. Croissants, you can see more bakeries introducing croissants, and to me, it's more than just a croissant. There, if you croissants, if you did that's what you do for a living, there's so much behind it. There's studying again, ovens, good butters, good flours, good ingredients, and knowledge from the chefs, dedication. So that's the trend that I like. The trend that it's people are passionate about. I want to see that more. It's not just about just buy whatever in the store. Like enjoying it and really comparing. Oh, I ate this one over here and I ate that here. So when I first came to Atlanta, you couldn't really see many bakeries. There were only a few, but now they're starting to pop up more and more. And other chefs in the city are really into it now. So I like that because it gives you a perspective of how much the city is changing, and you have to keep up with it.
Yeah. And to follow up on that, what do you think makes pastry unique?
The fact that it's difficult.
A
It's not an
challenge.
easy. It's a challenge again. Is the maybe it's because I'm Scorpio, but it's a challenge. Is you have to really respect pastry. I've always say this, and I think it's easier for a pastry chef to do savory than from a savory chef to do pastry. Because it's intimidating. It's like, oh my god, now this you have to follow all the rules. You have to really step. So that's the part that I really love about pastry. That you have to take your time. You cannot rush it. You have to it's all constantly evolving. Uh, Now that going back to the trends, I like how people are more aware about sugar and like sweetness and the balance.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. How we have to. If pastry evolves, and we also have to evolve. It challenges you to like, hey, keep up with me, keep up with me, chocolate. So it's what I like about pastry.
Yeah. Throughout our conversation, I've jotted like three words that have stuck with me, like that you've come back to, and one is change. I feel like we're all evolving all the time, and pastry is as well. The other one is resilience with all of your challenges and going up. And finally, I wrote also roots because I feel like a lot of where you come from is shown in your creations and what you share in your experiences. So I have two more fast questions. One of them is if you could only bake one type of pastry for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Chocolate croissant.
Chocolate croissant.
It has to have chocolate. And it has to be a puff, a croissant, a laminated product for sure. Yeah.
And the other one is in three words, what does pastry mean for you?
Means passion. It means talent. Um, it means community. I don't know how many words, but yeah, that's kind of like
Yeah,
what it means to me.
perfect. And you've wrapped up also perfectly what we're trying to do here, which is also build a community. So that wraps up today's Meet the Chef segment. I want to thank you again, Daniela, for sharing a part of yourself with our audience, a part of who you are and what makes you unique. It's thanks to you that República Cacao gets to be a local brand with a global impact. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate the opportunity.